While most of us were ringing in the new year, Jenny and Tony Diaz were tapping their toes for a different reason. Due on January 1st, their new baby seemed reluctant to start the new year off with a bang.
My due date was January 1st. Mommy was ready to have the baby January 1st. Mommy was ready like Thanksgiving, but that didn't happen.
Mommy only dilated to it too.
Yeah. So, doctor said that we could wait till either January 4th or that next Tuesday, January 11th. And I was really hoping that she'd come on her own. So, I said, well, let's just wait till the 4th and then we'll schedule the C-section if she's not there yet. And so I had to schedule for the 11th. And she didn't want to come out.
11 days after they'd hoped to welcome their new family addition, it was finally time. All set up in the labor and delivery unit at United Regional, turns out baby wasn't finished finding ways to make them wait.
I got my epidural, and then it was probably about an hour later. They let me know, you do have a fever, and I had the shakes real bad, and it was kind of, everybody's like, oh, you get the shakes, that's normal, that's normal. Well, then they kind of were like, oh, okay, well, you have a fever, we need to kind of, and it just kind of was, they tried to kind of smooth it over, make it where nothing seemed like anything was wrong there for a while.
The Dr. Lamar did not really play it like she was going to be sick or anything was going to be wrong. He gave us like a pre-warning before she came out and told us, now there might be a moment where they need to take her over here and kind of revive her because this process really stresses them and wears them out. And then then she came out, and that's the way she was. And you can see right across from I can see over his head and see that she's not really mobile or interacting or nothing.
Yeah, and they had the resuscitator thing trying to revive her, and that was the scary part.
You kind of look over and you can see a glimpse of the baby, but then you see like 6 nurses standing around, and you kind of get that feeling of, and they had to take her out of the room and get her to nursery. And when they got her in the nursery, they just hang out here, wait, and we'll come get you, and we'll let you know when everything's all right. So you guys come see her.
It was very emotional. I'm about to cry right now thinking about it. It was pretty bad.
Kind of not the feeling you want. You want to be able to see her and hold her, and then trying to cheer her up in the process was hard.
When Alyvia Diaz entered the world that night, she wasn't breathing. The nurses worked to revive her in the room before whisking her off to try and stabilize her. Jenny's fever was the result of an infection, and while Jenny was struggling to give birth, Alyvia was trying to breathe. Meconium is the baby's first feces, and when the baby is stressed or there's an infection, it can inhale the meconium during delivery. Although air can flow past the meconium trapped in the airways as the baby breathes in, it can become trapped when the baby breathes out. Alyvia was placed on a ventilator in a giraffe critical care bed, both funded by Children's Miracle Network, as the doctors and nurses worked to help her breathe normally again.
I had a fever, and so it caused an infection, and I guess that's what was like in her lungs, the meconium and everything, and that's what caused most of the stress. And her shoulder was stuck when she came out, so it kind of took a while, and she aspirated, and it got all in her lungs. And
it caused an infection in her body.
In her lungs, and they just weren't functioning the way they were supposed to.
Instead of being able to hold their baby, Tony and Jenny had to wait. Tony grabbed the video camera, and when Alyvia stabilized, he hit record.
When I went in the second time to look at her, she had the tube going down her throat. And Dr. Peters came in and she looked and she says, we don't know how bad it is, but we know that we can handle it here with what we have. If we didn't, we would end up flying her down to Cook's, which in turn would take a lot longer and cause more stress for us. So everything being here was great. It's just, it was a lot better than having to travel and then having to find rooms and everything down there.
Today, Alyvia is just like any other 4.5-month-old baby. Jenny and Tony couldn't be happier.
She is a very happy baby. And she's getting that personality in, and she's more alert, and she'll talk to you, and she just smiles, and she's a happy baby now. Especially right after it happened, it was kind of like oh man, is this going to cause problems for, the rest of her life? Is it going to be like tough? But so now it's like it never happened.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
A benefit of having everything here was that she wouldn't have that in her longer. Which the longer she had that in there, which I put this. So whenever she went to the room, and they couldn't give her all that, like the respiratory and pressure incubator. If they couldn't give her all that, the faster, the worse it would have been.
Yeah.
The longer it would have took sitting in there, the more of a bigger infection it would have been.
Yeah.
Not knowing how our pregnancy was going to be, or how our delivery actually was going to be, knowing that our pregnancy and everything, we didn't figure we would need any of this.
Well, like you said, you never think, it'll never happen to me. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry it happened to you, but when it happens to you, it's like, wow, okay.
And even to this day, I'm thankful that, the Children's Miracle Network was able to have that stuff there. I was able to look at her in a little incubator and see her label up on the machine, and actually thankful that, it was here.
Yeah. You don't think about, oh man, I'm so grateful for anyone who has ever given anything to the Children's Miracle Network, because without it, we would have been separated. She would have been flown to Cook's, and it would have just been a completely different story. So it's a humbling experience.
11 days late, Alyvia made everyone wait. With the help of Children's Miracle Network, the leading edge equipment, and medical staff at United Regional, their wait wasn't nearly as long as it could have been, receiving treatment just down the hall instead of hundreds of miles away. Tony and Jenny were able to be there for every breath.